my name is Lexi Dickerson, and today I'm going to be talking about John B. Watson, one of the most important people in psychology. Watson is known for creating the idea of behavioralism, which says that psychology should focus on studying behaviors that we can see rather than trying to figure out what's happening inside our minds. He believed that all behaviors are learned from the environment around us, and that we can learn through the process called conditioning. Watson's ideas were different from older theories in psychology, which tried to study things like thoughts and feelings. Instead, Watson thought that looking closely at how people behaved in different situations, we could better understand how they react and learn new behaviors. His idea helped shape many fields of psychology, including how we teach people today, help people in therapy, and even target different audiences. In this presentation, I will be talking about his early life, late life, some of his achievements, and different theories as well. John B. Watson was born on January 9, 1878, in Travelers Rest, South Carolina. He grew up in a small town and didn't have much money. His family was not rich, and his father left when he was just a young child, so Watson was raised mostly by his religious mother, Emma. Growing up, Watson wasn't a very good student at first, but he eventually worked hard and became interested in learning. Watson went to college at a very young age in South Carolina, where he studied many subjects, including psychology and science. After college, he went to Johns Hopkins University and studied psychology. He did really well in school and became known for his strong interest in understanding how people behave and learn. His early life, though challenging, helped shape his interest in studying human behavior and eventually led him to become one of the most important figures in psychology today. He did pass away from natural causes at the age of 80 in 1958, and he was the second of 5 children out of the Watson kids, and later had 4 himself. John started university school at the age of 16. After 5 years, he earned a master's degree, and then he went to the University of Chicago and got a doctorate degree in psychology and physiology. He later decided to focus only on psychology and earned his PhD in 1903. 5 years after that, Johns Hopkins University made him a professor of experimental psychology. John Watson had 2 children with his first wife, a daughter named Mary, nicknamed Polly, and a son named John, nicknamed Little John. After he had an affair with his first wife, he then married Rosalie Rayner later in life, where they also had 2 children. They were 2 boys. Watson began his personal career as a professor of psychology at Johns Hopkins University in 1908. It was here he developed his theories. After earning his PhD in psychology from the University of Chicago in 1903 at a very young age, Watson stayed as an instructor for 4 years. His early research focused on animal behavior and the relationship between brain development and learning. Watson is best known for developing behavioralism, a theory that focuses on studying visual actions and behavior instead of looking into thoughts and feelings. His famous Little Albert experiment in 1920 showed that people can learn emotional reactions through experiments, which made a big impact on psychology and education. Watson's behavioralism laid the foundation for later developments in psychology, influencing other behavioralists such as B.F. Skinner and Edward Tolman. He then was later influenced himself by a Russian scientist also known for his work on classical conditioning. His famous experiments with dogs showed how a natural signal could be linked to a natural reaction. Watson adapted and expanded his ideas by applying them to human behavior, making classical conditioning a cornerstone for his behavioralist theory. In these pictures, the first one, as stated up above, is Ian, and then the second one is John himself. Here's just a few examples of just some of the people that he was influenced by, particularly number 1 and number 5. Later in life, John B. Watson's career changed in some surprising ways. After becoming famous for his ideas about behavioralism, he faced a big personal problem. In the 1920s, he was forced to leave his job at Johns Hopkins University because of a scandal. Watson had an affair with a woman named Rosalie Rayner who worked with him on research. This caused a lot of trouble, and he lost his job at the university. But Watson didn't give up. Instead of staying in psychology, he decided to try something new and went into advertising. He used his knowledge of how people's behaviors and emotions work to help companies sell their products. His work in advertising was very successful, and he became well known for using psychology in business. In his later years, Watson kept writing and talking about his ideas, but he spent more time advertising than in research. He passed away on September 25th, 1958, but his ideas about behavioralism are still important today in both psychology and in advertising. John B. Watson, the founder of behavioralism, had a big impact on how teachers teach today. His focus on looking at what people do instead of what they think or feel helped to create a more particular approach in classroom. Watson believed that teachers should focus on students' actions and how to change them rather than trying to figure out what students were thinking. This made it easier for teachers to set clear goals. For example, teachers could focus on whether a student was paying attention, completing their homework, or following the rules instead of worrying about what was going on inside their head. One of Watson's most important ideas was using rewards to encourage good behavior. Today, teachers often use positive reinforcement like giving students rewards when they do something good. For example, a teacher might praise a student when they answer a question right, give a sticker for turning in homework on time, or let students have extra playtime if they follow the rules. These rewards help students learn that good behavior leads to positive outcomes, so they are more likely to repeat these actions. Another way Watson's ideas are used is in creating structured routines. Watson's focus on behavior led to classrooms that are well organized and have clear rules and schedules. For example, students might know that after the bell rings, they start reading time. Then they do math, later lunch. This helps students feel comfortable and know what to expect so they don't get confused. It also helps teachers keep control of the classroom because students understand what comes next. Watson's ideas also influence how teachers manage student behavior. Many teachers today use reward systems like point charts or good behavior tickets, where students earn points or tickets for doing the right things. These points can later be exchanged for rewards like extra recess time or special privileges. This system is based on Watson's idea that behavior can be shaped by rewards and consequences. However, some people believe that behavioralism doesn't take account for students' emotions or thoughts. For example, it doesn't explain why students might be nervous or upset for how these feelings can be affecting their education. Some teachers argue that focusing on other actions might ignore important parts of student experience, like how they feel about school in a particular lesson. Today, many teachers mix Watson's behaviors with other teaching ideas. For example, they might teach students how to understand and manage their emotions through social emotion learning, SEL, while also using rewards to encourage good behavior. By combining these different ideas, teachers can help students do well in school and feel good about themselves. For example, a teacher might use positive reinforcement to encourage good behavior, but also create a classroom where students feel safe and supported. Helping them learn to manage their feelings, this shows how Watson's ideas are still important and how they can be used in different methods to help students grow in every way and in every grade. This is the Little Albert experiment. John B. Watson's Little Albert experiment showed how emotions and behavior can be learned through association. In the classroom, this idea helps explain how students learn behaviors based on the consequences they experience. For example, if a student gets rewarded for raising their hand, they may start to associate that behavior with positive outcomes and continue to do that. Also, if a student talks out of turn and this is ignored or disciplined, they may stop doing it over time. Teachers can use these principles of reinforcement to encourage positive behaviors and reduce negative ones in the classroom. And that is all for this presentation. These are some of the websites that I visited to get the information that I did, and thank you for listening.